Okay, welcome to this late evening live stream for Hard Lens Media. My name is Kit Cabello, and I welcome all our viewers and subscribers to this short live stream. So, here's what's going on. This is a story that's right now been gaining traction as well. Representative Tulsi Gabbard has been getting some attention in the news. That's very important that we at least give attention to her campaign as well after how the DNC has been treating her, and might I add, it's been pretty unfair. But recently, Tulsi Gabbard is once again leading, in compared to the other candidates, in foreign policy. And what do I mean by this? Well, it seems that once again, Trump and his administrators of war again towards the country of Iran because of a recent attack on Saudi oil supply. It's all about oil, once again. And of course, since Saddam Hussein and Osama bin Laden are gone, the United States and the military industrial complex needs another scapegoat. And who's that going to be? Iran. And which two countries have a problem with Iran right now besides the United States? Saudi Arabia and Israel. And so, because of this, there's now once again the concern of American servicemen and women being deployed in the Middle East, especially towards Iran, for another wasteful war that's going to cost trillions in dollars. So, once again, the military industrial complex gets what it wants, or apparently they're trying to get what they want. Just earlier this summer, there was a potential of war happening when two oil tankers were supposedly attacked by Iran, but because of a lot of skepticism and because of the fact that we have been lied to, the American people have been lied to by corporate media, as well as by the people in the establishment that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction, that war didn't get any traction, and Trump and his administration once again had to backpedal away. The only positive statement for Trump and his administration at this point can be said that they're so incompetent that the neoliberal, neoconservative war machine is failing. So, here's what Representative Tulsi Gabbard basically stated. And I just want to point things to where she made her infamous statement, or heroic statement. Let me correct that. A heroic statement towards Trump and his administration, because after what Trump has said, people have to call into question of, is he truly a leader? So, President Donald Trump said he was waiting to hear from Saudi Arabia on the culprit of Saturday's drone attacks on two Saudi oil plants and under what terms we would proceed. So, according to a lot of national security experts, noted that this looks like Trump was waiting on Saudi Arabia to make decisions affecting the United States, and thus in turn, how we should deploy the United States military. That means the United States Army, the Marine Corps, Navy, Air Force, etc. And of course, again, just to go into further detail, he was waiting to hear from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia on who they believe was the cause of the drone attacks and under what terms they would proceed. Representative Tulsi Gabbard made this state on Twitter. Trump awaits instructions from his Saudi masters. Having our country act as Saudi Arabia's bitch is not America's first. Is not America first. And that's very true. Because right now, Saudi Arabia has us wrapped around its finger because the United States and the military industrial complex is addicted to oil. And that's why we're going to war. Always. It's over oil and the petrodollar. Paul Dupont has talked about this. I have talked about this. Daniel Lupker has talked about this on the show. And it's ridiculous. How many young men and women are basically being told to fight and die in ridiculous wars that have no end at all. So, going forward, Tulsi Gabbard is saying that this war will cost huge amounts in treasury and will cost huge amounts in lives, both civilians that will be impacted by a potential war with Iran, but also our own American men and women in service. And this calls into question really the influence of the military-industrial complex and whether or not the office of the presidency is as omnipotent as we once thought. This is the problem when we have a neoliberal, neoconservative machine that is controlled by large interests. It's not only just the military-industrial complex, it's the pharmaceutical industry, the prison-industrial complex, and numerous other lobby groups that control our Congress and Senate, and apparently the office of president. Thanks to Citizens United and the McCutcheon's decision, where money is speech and corporations are people, all politicians, Democrat and Republican, can be bought and sold by the highest bidder. And that also means dark money from foreign countries can also influence our elected officials as well. And with Trump making that statement on social media, it sets a very interesting narrative that the United States is being told when to go to war by a foreign power. Now, we can't have this. Now, remember, just to rewind back the clocks from 2016, Trump did run on a supposedly anti-war campaign. That's what he did. But he never followed through with it. Look at his administration's failed coup attempt in Venezuela. Him instigating a ridiculous potential fire or cross conflict with North Korea. And then his failed potential war with Iran. And now he's starting to do it all over again. This is why we need to get involved in this 2020 election cycle. And this is why we need to support strong, progressive, independent candidates to really challenge this neoliberal system. We got to get money out of politics. We have to be involved. And Representative Tulsi Gabbard is once again on point, leading the charge and calling out this administration for its hypocrisy. We can't be involved in these foreign wars, and we have to get off our addiction of oil. But also, I wanted to cover another story that happened in Anki, Iowa. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Representative Tulsi Gabbard, of course, sadly, did not make it on the third presidential debate, but there is possibly a good window of opportunity to where she can make it on the fourth Democratic debate stage. And she and her entire campaign are working double time all across Iowa to really get her message out. There's a lot of crowds attending her events. And at one event, Tulsi Gabbard opened up the town hall by referring a CNN article and criticizing President Donald Trump for bending the knee to the wishes of Saudi Arabia and using American military to carry out that country's wishes. This is a quote from Representative Tulsi Gabbard. People like Mike Pompeo and the Trump administration, they've been trying to go to war with Iran for a really long time, and they are taking action and laying down the groundwork to do so, pushing us to the point to where we literally right now are on the brink of war with Iran. Trump says we are locked and loaded, and I believe him. Now look, Representative Tulsi Gabbard is a major in the Hawaiian National Guard. She's seen the cost of war. She did 2 tours in Iraq. She saw what happens when you send American men and women into a ridiculous war zone for a ridiculous cause. And an invasion with Iran would be too costly. She also states this: where are you going to find the trillions of dollars that you'll need to fight this war, said Representative Tulsi Gabbard. How will you take care of the veterans who will come home with both visible and invisible wounds, very thick scars for the rest of their lives? Representative Tulsi Gabbard believes that, unlike Trump, she will use her military experience to understand the depths of diplomacy needed to avoid war. And that's something we need to talk about, and that was something that was lacking during the third Democratic debate. This is evidence to me that Representative Tulsi Gabbard needs to make it on the fourth Democratic debate stage, because if she's not there, we lose a strong talking point, a strong narrative on why we need to change our foreign policy. She has what it takes, and she has seen the cost of war. And of course, we've covered in the past how corporate media constantly smears Representative Tulsi Gabbard. It's fake. Because corporate media, just like the DNC establishment, just like the Republican establishment, they're owned by Wall Street, big banks, and corporations to control a neoliberal, neoconservative narrative. Again, we have to get involved in this 2020 election cycle, and from what I've seen personally right now, Representative Tulsi Gabbard and her campaign, they're not stopping, they're continuing to push forward, but the responsibility at the end of the day is in our hands, and we need to get the word out. We cannot afford a neoliberal, corporatist Democrat to be the nominee, because if we do, we'll get another 4 years of Trump. It's just that simple. So, with that being said, this is historic, and at least there is one candidate that's really calling out Trump and his administration in regards to foreign policy and why we need to drastically change our political system, and Representative Tulsi Gabbard has that experience. So, my name's Kit. Thank you for joining this Hardlands Media live stream. We are going to be updating, so these live streams are not going to be like how they used to be. We will be doing our shows Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we will be uploading more consistent content. If you support independent media, Heartlands Media does have a Patreon page. Your support will go miles for us. We can't thank you guys enough. This Wednesday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, we will be premiering in our brand new studio, and it's because of you guys, our Patreon supporters, our viewers and subscribers. We can't thank you enough. And if you are one of our subscribers, please double check and triple check that you're subscribed to our channel and you get notifications, because sadly, YouTube is passing these weird policies and it's impacting a lot of content creators, not just independent media, but a lot of content creators. Otherwise, peace, take care, and let's all do what we can to build a better future.